We're going to do a special section, risers and fallers. So we're going to go back and forth, play a little tennis, and let's start by naming 3 players each who have gained value as a result of the deadline. So we'll go back and forth 1 and 1. So we'll start with you. Give me your first riser.
Well, I'm going to go with Nino Niederreiter going to Winnipeg. And, this is a team that I have very high hopes for. I'm still, you look at the standings, and it's just a team that kind of speaks to me as the one I just feel confident in the playoffs. And a lot of it is due to their goaltending and also how guys like Josh Morrissey has really stood up this year. But having Niederreiter out there and filling a role that Cole Perfetti's basically left in his injury. I think that's going to be good for him, good for the Jets. And, when you go from a team where you're going to get a lot of opportunity on a team like Nashville, but you go to a team like Winnipeg that's in this like win now mode, they've got some good offense. The opportunity is really good. So I like that.
Okay, that's a good pick. I'm going to go with my first riser is Eunice Corpusalo, the Los Angeles Kings. And it's funny, we actually referenced him in a question. I think it was last week, saying if he got traded, he's immediately give or take a top 15 goaltender. And it's such an obvious upgrade for me. He goes from a team that had the 6th worst expected goals against per 60 at 5-5 to a team that has the 6th best. So we already know Corpusalo has been a much better goaltender this year. He looks way healthier, getting the hip repaired last year. And it's been a night and day difference in his game. And now he's going to a team that's just going to give him far fewer high quality looks that he has to stop. So better team, more opportunity for wins. Maybe he's going to get fewer saves because the Kings just aren't going to give up as many shots. But overall, the trade-off is worth it. He is now quite a relevant fantasy goaltender for your stretch run in playoffs. Okay, give me your second riser.
I'm going to go with Ivan Barbashev. Vegas seems to be this place where you can get opportunities. And this is one where he goes from St. Louis, not having a good year, but we know he's capable of putting up some decent numbers. He's going to go to a situation here where, the fact that Chandler Stevenson's turned into a star is a sign that anyone can really kind of make it work here in Vegas. And I feel like, again, losing Mark Stone, not great, but going out there and being this big key aspect of this team they're not guaranteed a playoff spot. Looks like it should happen, but we know this West battle is going to be pretty good till the end. I think that he's going to be very important and is not playing on a Blues team that just was an absolute disaster and was trading away pieces very quickly and leaving kind of not much to work with there. So I like what he's going to be moving into there.
I like it too. And I'm going to go with John Klingberg. This is someone I was telling you all for weeks just to trade for him in advance because he's going to get traded to a better situation in real life, which he did. He will run the first power play unit in Minnesota. He's already out there with Kirill Kaprizov, Matt Boldy, Joel Eriksson-Ek, and Matt Zuccarello. So that's a big upgrade in personnel that he has alongside him. It doesn't mean he's a great addition in real life. I think Klingberg's game has really fallen off a cliff. And I argued the day that it happened that Kalen Addison was kind of already doing a lot of the things that Klingberg was doing for better and for worse. But in fantasy, he's got these sheltered minutes and he's going to be playing power play, much better players. So that's a very obvious upgrade if you're looking for especially assists and power play points on defense. Okay, who do you got as your third riser?
I'm going to go with this one was tough because there was a lot of good options for this one, but I'm going to go with Jacob Vrana, someone that we know how good he was when things were looking good in Detroit and Washington. And I know, and like when you and I were working at the Hockey News, like that was a guy I remember mentioning him before a podcast shoot. And you're like, oh yeah, like I'm huge on Vrana trade. It's great. And then obviously there was a lot of on ice success, but I guess the issues off the ice has kind of made some question marks about what he's capable of doing. And he went to the AHL, clearly too good to be in the AHL, but the relationship there was fractured with Detroit. I'm glad that he's going to get an opportunity here in St. Louis, but I really hope we could see him kind of bounce back to the quality we know he can, because this is a guy that just didn't seem to miss a lot. And he was very underrated in Washington, was putting up goals like it was no one's business early in his days in Detroit. I think he's got an opportunity again here.
Yeah, for sure. And I even like him as just a keeper league stash now. The guy who scored at a 39-goal pace in Detroit Red Wings uniform. So if he can get his head on straight, get through the substance abuse problems that were plaguing him, then he could be pretty special next year. Great buy low by the Blues. Okay, I'm going to keep the Jacob theme going for my third riser. It's Jacob Chychrun. And he joins one of the hottest teams in the league. He goes from one of the worst teams in the league, the Coyotes offense, 28th in the NHL. Ottawa, as of yesterday, as of Monday, was 15th in offense, so a much better offensive team. Right now, Chychrun had started on the second power play unit, but I do think eventually he'll get a chance to go out there with Kachuk and Stützle, Batherson, DeBrincat. Even the second unit still has guys like Claude Giroux on it as well. And just the better overall company. We know Chikrin is a guy who can impact the game a lot in his own, contribute to many different categories, and now he has easily the best supporting cast of his career. So that's an obvious upgrade in his long-term fantasy value.